Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, today I'm in the kitchen. My husband is here. This morning at breakfast, he said, I'm not going to the airport today. And I said, why not? And he said, well, it's going to be 39 degrees Celsius outside today. And I said, 39 degrees. Or I said, no, I said 29 degrees. Well, that's not so hot. And then he said, no, Yvette, I meant 39 degrees, like 39. So that's close to 40 degrees, which is over 100 Fahrenheit. So he's staying home. And means I'm in the kitchen. I look like a Touched by an Angel cast member because I've got the light above here turned on because otherwise it would be too dark and I would have to turn everything around and it's kind of a pain. So it is what it is. So the lighting is like terrible today, but I'll hopefully be able to pull the cards and be able to actually do something. So I've got two questions that I'm going to read on today. The first one came from the comments that I got yesterday. Kathy wanted to know she wrote, is DJT a catalyst for change that will force us to our choice point? And I thought that was an interesting question and an interesting take because a lot of intuitives are saying that this person is in the White House for the simple reason that we have to learn uh, about ourselves. We have to learn how much we're going to take, or what we're going to take, or how we're going to deal with stuff. So I thought this was an interesting question, and so I thought I would pull cards on it. And first, I'm going to do the yes and no cards. I'm going to see if my guys are going to be willing to play with me on this, because the yes and no cards I've been having issues with for the last few days. I've been getting no when I thought I would get yes. I've been getting yes when I thought I'd get no. And then when I was like kind of indifferent, I would get a blank card. So my guides are either playing with me or, this is just what it is. So first I'm going to ask my guides, um, are you willing, um, is this what I needed to learn? Is this what I needed to learn? Whoops, and there's cards, and I picked them all up again. Yay, yay. So I have to ask them, is this what I need to learn when it comes to asking questions, the phrasing of the questions, being able to get an accurate reading? Because what I've noticed is that the yes and no cards have kind of contradicted what I got from the tarot. And the tarot cards have been like just really, really good. I mean, there's some good energy in these. There's some good energy in these guys. So, yeah, I've been getting some really interesting stuff for the last couple of days on the read, and so I want to know if these yes and no cards, if this is me being the skin being that I am, as Libby would put it, the person, the physical person that I am, is this why the cards are being a little bit more difficult for me? So, and I'll hold one up and it says yes. So straight off, the guides are talking to me. They're telling me that I have to get my personal thoughts as far as the cards are concerned. Um, I have to get my own prejudices and my own ideas and stuff away from what I get with these cards. So this is something that I have tried to learn to do, is to try to just ask questions without having my personal preferences intact with regards to the question. So this is a question that Kathy raised, and I thought this was a really good question because it really is something that I have a feeling that the answer is yes, but I'm not invested in the question. Okay, I don't, I'm not affected either way if it's a yes or a no. So maybe it's a good question to start with just to get myself warmed up to do the tarot reading. So is DJT, and I will never say his actual name. DJT is a good, his initials. That's so people know who I'm referring to. And this is for entertainment only, so, don't just take it with a grain of salt or a pinch of salt or whatever, because that's what I'm doing anyway. So anyway, is he a catalyst for change that will force us to make our own changes, or to the point where we have to make a choice? No. Okay. No. Okay. He's not a catalyst for change. Um, is he a catalyst? Period. Okay, let's go with that. Is he a catalyst? Is he a catalyst of something? I don't know what, but is he a catalyst? Yes. Okay. So basically, what it is that he should not be having any impact on our changes or on our decisions to make changes in our lives. So whatever it is that he does, it should not have any impact on what we do in our own personal lives. We should make our decisions based on what is right for us. Is that an accurate summation that we make our decisions based on what we ourselves feel is the best for us? No. Okay. So let me think. What did I ask? Because I do think that our choices are impacted in some ways by what's going on in the external. Okay, so whatever it is we are doing, I think that some of the choices that we do end up making are impacted by what's going on out there. Um, is that an accurate summation? Is our choices have anything? Do our choices have anything to do with what's going on externally? What's going on around? No. Um, Okay, well, let's see what's the tarot has to say, because the yes and no cards are giving me some mixed answers. It would seem to me that to interpret all of this, he's catalyzed something, but if it's direct choices that we ourselves are making about our lives, that's kind of iffy. So the guides are telling me that the choices that we make are entirely our choices, and they should not be impacted by what's going on externally, but instead what's going on internally. So are our choices basically internal? Are the choices that we make internal? Yes. Okay. So the choices that we make in our life are entirely internalized choices. They are internal. They are intuition. They are instinct. They are ideas. So what we do is not catalyzed by him per se, but it is catalyzed by our choices, by what we do with regard to our choices. Let me see. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you guys seasick. I'm just trying to center this a little bit. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and do this question again with the tarot and see what the tarot says, and if the tarot has a similar response as the if the tarot has a similar response as the yes and no cards. And that's going to be interesting to find out. So, is he a catalyst for change that will force us to also make choices or make changes in our own lives? Is he a catalyst for change? And I get the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is about conflict. So it's actually the conflict between him as a possible catalyst and our response to it, and how we respond to the changes that we are considering. Um, does this have to do with our choices? Could be. It could bring us in conflict externally with people around us. Could bring us in conflict with our families, with our friends, with the people that we know. Um, Regardless of the um, what he's doing. So it could be that, yeah, it could be in a roundabout way. It could be that the catalyst could create conflict between people who support him and people who do not. And so, yeah, there could be that conflict that comes to be, and it could be that we are choosing things based on whether or not we want this, or if we want harmony in our lives. And so that is a possibility. It's crossed by the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is him. He is the, in this instance, he is the catalyst, but he brings about this. He brings about this conflict with people. And so if we make a choice in our lives and it's about whether or not we support him, then that could bring about either conflict with our friends, with our family, with our communities, whatever it is. So everybody has an opinion about this person. Everybody has an opinion about this person. Okay, it's straight up. Everyone has an opinion about him. They love him, they hate him. I mean, it's just one or the other. I don't think there's any middle ground here. I think that it's either you like this guy or you loathe this guy. And that feeling creates this. So that's what I'm getting there. The underline is the Queen of Pentacles. This is the feminine energy. This is the feminine response to all of the stuff that's going on. So the feminine energy is, the women are the ones that are like deciding elections and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much the women vote that is deciding what's going on. So whatever it is that is happening, a lot of it has to do with what the women in 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 the uh, in the in the world are saying. So the women are the this idea is women, and women's choices is what's been coming under attack. So what we're dealing with is we're dealing with a tyrannical individual, and we're having the women directly beneath that trying to determine choices, because a lot of the stuff that people are deciding about this person is in reference to how women are being treated. And so women are being treated like second class citizens, and so the women are the ones who are actually determining what's going on. And I'm sweating like a dog, so excuse me if that comes across here. So anyway, in the immediate past, we have the High Priestess. Again, feminine energy. A lot of the conflicts that we have with regards to change and making choices, a lot of it has to do with the women and how women are responding to what is going on. And this is a very strong feminine energy, and it's a strong force to be reckoned with. And when they say that women are the ones who are deciding elections, that's what they mean. That women are coming out and they're saying, this guy's a jerk. We don't like him. We don't like him. So they're making choices in their life. Women, the women who have decided not to have relations with men, like dating and stuff like that. This started in Korea, and I'm not sure what it was called, but I think you know what I mean. It's a movement that started in Korea, where women have decided that they do not want to get married, they do not want to have kids, they do not want to date. And I saw a statistic a couple of days ago that said that the number of children born has declined this year from the number like in years gone by. So a lot of women are saying, no, we're not doing this. So this is choice. This is their decision to not do this. So I think that, yes, he is catalyzing that aspect of women's lives to say, no, we don't want anything to do with these guys, and specifically with guys who support him. And a lot of them are whining and complaining because women don't want anything to do with them. And the question is, do you blame them? The overarching energy is the Star card, and I have to cover the boobies so that I don't get dinged by YouTube. But the Star card is also the light, the small beam of light in the overall thing. So again, feminine energy. This is a female figure who is pouring the water from cup to cup, and she is that embodiment of that feminine energy. So a lot of the people who are choosing or making these choices, um, will we is he catalyzing the choice path? Yes, he is. To especially to specifically to women, he is catalyzing that sense that women are coming out and they're saying, "No, we don't want anything to do with this guy." And his supporters are whining that they're not getting anything from women because women don't want it. And the women who support him, they're getting ostracized by other women as traitors. See, so it's, the women are the ones who are holding the cards. You want to talk about who's holding the cards? The women are. And in the immediate future, we have the Ace of Pentacles. I think this is the files. I think that this is the files. And I think that this is going to have an impact on how people, excuse me, it's going to determine how people respond to him with regards to these information that's going to come out, because it will eventually come out. I mean, this is like, you know, a hit dog will holler. This is why they're keeping it under seal, and why they're keeping it under wraps, and they're not saying anything, because they know that this is going to have an impact on people, and it's going to have impact on whether or not people decide to support him. So yes, he is catalyzing a lot in that sense, because he has had an impact on women's voting, women's personal dating lives, as you will. All of these things are having an impact on the choices that people are making in their own personal lives about where they're going or what they're going to do. Are they going to be career oriented, or are they going to be getting involved in raising families and stuff like that? I don't have children. I made the decision 20 years ago that I did not want to have kids. And the reason is because I was a victim. And I mentioned that in earlier meditation, so I'm not going to go into it now. But this is the decision. Based on the information that we get, the decisions that people make is, I'm going to go a different way and I'm not going to do this. And then we get the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is, I have to see where that position is in the thing here. This is the emotional hopes and fears. The hopes and fears is the Wheel of Fortune. It's like, we know that every decision is going to have an outcome. Every decision that we make is going to have an impact on our lives, because everything that we do, everything that we choose, excuse me, has an impact on what happens to us ultimately. So when we make a choice about having kids, or we make a choice about getting married, or we make a choice about changing jobs or moving or whatever, it is all going to have an impact. So is he catalyzing us making these choices to move? People are leaving the country. People are doing these things. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is having an impact. The next card is how people see you, how others see you. And that is the Hierophant. Well, they see him as the government, as the person who is like, you know, he's the one who's deciding their fate, basically, with regards to all of this. So, yeah, this is what they're seeing in that instance, is that he is deciding what their ultimate choices and what their livelihoods and stuff are going to be. So, yeah, I think that there is something, something going on here with regards to this. This is what people see in him. He is the government. He is the representation of the Republican Party. He is the person who is responsible for all of the things that are going on. So yeah. And then this is your hope, your hopes and fears is the Knight of Wands, and I have to look that one up. That one, because I'm drawing. which can happen. It can happen. Let's see. Where's the royal cards? The royal cards I think are between the major arcana and the other number. Yeah, here we go. So the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. Okay. The Knight of Wands sets out with confidence. He tends to bring swift movement to matters with high level of energy. So this is, I think this is, it says the Knight of Wands almost always shows when someone is about to change residence. May also signify a long journey being taken. So, yeah, this is, he is seeing people leaving. He's seeing people changing their jobs. He's ending people's employment. People's lives are having a drastic change because of his impact on them. So yeah, this is a very apt card for this particular person and for catalyzing people's decisions about it. Final outcome is the Page of Swords, and I have to look this one up because I think it's important to Page of Swords. Quick-minded, cool, deep, takes everything in but doesn't speak unnecessarily. Secretive, analytical, tends to make logical decisions. Okay, this is the people who are making the choices. This is the people who are deciding to move. These are the people who are deciding to change jobs. These are the people deciding not to get married, not to have kids, not to date. These are yeah, these are the people who are making these decisions based on policies and what the government is trying to decide to do. So, is he a catalyst? I think he is. I think he has catalyzed a great deal, even if the yes and no cards don't really imply that he has. I think that this is the catalyst here in regards to in regards to what's going on with him and his decisions and his things. So I hope that that answered your question, Kathy. I think it was a really great question, and I think it was a really kind of a deep dive into all of this, but as deep as I could go, ha ha ha, for entertainment only. But this is, I do believe this is what's going on with him. Okay, I'm going to shift gears now. I'm not going to use this deck though for this. Seriously. Okay, I'm not going to use this this deck for the next question because I want to clear the energy. I want it to have good energy. So, I pulled out two decks that I thought I could try and see if I could do the question with. Um, Yesterday I asked the question, does Gavin Newsom want to become president? And the answer I got was yes, he does. And so I thought that was really interesting. Now, back in frame here. I thought that was really interesting. And so I thought that I would do a deeper dive on Gavin Newsom. I think he's really incredible. I don't know if you've seen some of the postings that he's been posting, trolling the Big Fat Orange Problem, but he is really, really sticking it to him, and it's just brilliant, and I love it. Let me just ask the yes and no cards. Will the trolling of the Big Fat Orange Problem, will it succeed? Will it succeed in, I don't know, will it succeed in opening people's eyes to how idiotic everything is? Will it succeed in opening people's eyes and making them recognize what's going on? Yes, it will succeed. Okay. Um, will it enable him to get the Democratic nomination in 2028? Will this enable him or help enable him to get the Democratic nomination in 2020. Yes, it will. Okay. Yeah, I think that these cards are now finally listening, and I'm finally doing it right, so I'm really happy about that. Will Gavin Newsom become president? Will Gavin Newsom become president of the United States? Will Gavin Newsom become president of the United States? No, one more. No, no. Uh, will Gavin Newsom become a cabinet position for the for a new president? Will he get a cabinet position in a new administration? Will he get a cabinet position in a new administration? No. Um, okay. Will he run for Senate? So I see a good future for him, but I see I see him obtaining good things. I see good things for him. Will he run for Senate? I mean, he may run for Senate and then run for president. Who knows? I mean, but he really seems to be the man of the moment. Will he will he run for Senate? Yes. Okay, so he's going to probably run for Senate in U.S. Senate for a U.S. Senate seat after his role as governor of California ends. He's probably going to run for the Senate. See what happens? Because I think that in California, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in California they can only run for governor like twice or something like that. It's got term limits for the California governor. Because I think Schwarzenegger was also governor of California, and he term limited out or something like that. So Gavin Newsom is he may not win the nominate. He may win the nomination to run for president, but he may drop out and just run for Senate. Or I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing the presidency, but I do see him running for the nomination. Will he win the nomination in 2028? Will he win the presidential nomination in 20? No. Okay, so okay, so basically he is because I got earlier, yes, that he was going to run for the presidency, but I don't think okay, so he's going to probably run for the presidency, but he's not going to win the nomination. And let's ask one more question. Will a female candidate win the nomination for the president in 2028? Will a female candidate win the nomination for president in 2028? No. So it'll be a male, but it won't be Gavin Newsom. It'll be somebody else. Maybe Pritzker. Will Pritzker win the nomination for the presidency? Or does Pritzker even want to be president? Does Pritzker want to be president? The governor of Illinois, does he want to be president? Pritzker. Will Pritzker win the nomination? No. Um, okay, let's try Tim Walz. Will Tim Walz run for the presidency? He was the vice presidential candidate. A lot of people loved him. A lot of people thought he was great. Will, whoops, card down, card down. Get him. Ah, okay. Will Tim Walz, and this card just flipped up and it was a yes. So he will, Tim Walz will probably run. And so you'll have Gavin Newsom, you'll have Tim Walz. Pritzker, I don't think he's going to run, but we'll see what happens. But I want to read on Gavin Newsom. Okay, I'm going to pull, no, they don't want me to use Housewife Tarot. Black Cat Tarot, they don't want me to use that either. Gilded Tarot, yeah, okay, they want me to use the Gilded Tarot again. So I use the Gilded Tarot for reading on. I was going to use Black Cat Tarot, and then I just didn't feel right. The energy didn't feel right, and I was going to, and then I took the Housewives Tarot because I thought, oh, maybe that'll work too. Neither of those decks seem to be all right with this. I thought because it was a lighter reading that I didn't want to do Cat Tarot because I just wasn't really in tune with the idea of doing political tarot with the Cat Tarot deck. So I'm going to use Gilded Tarot, my old reliable deck. I'm going to use it. Um, I've never actually used the Rider-Waite deck for a reading on my channel, partially because, okay, the thing is the Rider-Waite has in the major arcana, they have a lot of boobies and stuff, and people are like taking markers and they're marking out. I don't want to do that to my cards. I do not want to alter the artwork in the cards. It just feels wrong to me. And so the best thing that I can do is just say, okay, I'm not going to use cards. I'll just use another deck. And the only card on this deck that has any kind of, you know, bodies, heavenly bodies, if you will, is the star card. The rest of the deck is pretty G-rated. So I use this deck for my main readings because I don't like having to like cover things up with my finger and try and figure things out. So that said, I'm going to read on Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom. Okay, Gavin Newsom. What can you tell me about Gavin Newsom? What can you tell me about Gavin Newsom? His wicked sense of humor is awesome, and his whoever's doing these postings are just absolutely making my day. They are so hilarious. If you haven't checked it, go on Blue Sky and check Gavin Newsom on Blue Sky. Or not on he's on X or Twitter, whatever the hell that thing is called, but I'm not on there anymore. I quit. I deleted my account and like moved to Blue Sky. And if you want to follow me on Blue Sky, my handle is at DL9YJ. And I'll say DL9YJ. That's my call sign for ham radio. So if you go on Blue Sky and you want to follow me on Blue Sky, that is my handle. I will follow you back if you follow me on Blue Sky. So that's just shameless plug, but you know, it's my channel. I can do that. Okay. So Gavin Newsom. Tell me about Gavin Newsom. Please, no death cards. I really would like to see a nice future for Gavin. That is my own personal opinion. Let's see what the cards have to say. Um, give it to me straight here. What does things look like for Gavin Newsom? Okay, the Hangman. This was in suspension. Okay, his future is kind of in suspension right now. He's got people who like him. He's got people who don't like him. People are going to be starting to look at the things that he's done for California, what he has done specifically before all of this craziness started. I know a lot of people remember the last thing before something happens, but I think people are going to start looking at his policies and they're going to start looking at him as a politician, more specifically what he's done and how he's done it. This may be why I got the no card with the nomination. Okay, this may be why that there is something going on with him that is not exactly on the up and up. So he's a human being and nobody's perfect. So the idea is that people are going to start looking more deeply into his past, into what he's done for the state, and I think that's a good thing. It's crossed by the King of Cups, and as I said, the King of Cups are the voters. These are the people who are going in and making the decision about whether or not they really want to elect him. Keep in mind that that people in when you lose your home state in the vote, if you're popular all around the country, but you're not popular at home in your own home state, then you might have some problems. You might run into some problems. Bernie Sanders won Vermont as an independent, and he ran for president, but he won his state. He won his state in a federal election. He did not win against he did not lose against a Republican candidate. And this is what we're going to have to look at. Will Gavin Newsom be able to win not only a nomination, but win in his state? Will people who may not necessarily be on the Newsom train, will they vote for him? Will they give them give him their voice? The underlying energy is the High Priestess. This is the women. What's his relationship with women? How does he chill with women? Is he misogynistic? Is he kind? Is he good? It's a very, very difficult thing to determine whether or not Gavin Newsom is with women, if his reputation with women is on the up and up. You need a candidate that is going to have a good a good energy with women, because women voters are the ones who are going to decide everything. In the immediate past, you have the star. I cover the boobies, but the star card. Yeah, this is again women. Women, women, women. How does he rank with women? What's his when I saw Tim Walz, when I saw Tim Walz and he's a down home, Midwest kind of guy, and he's not a misogynistic jerk. He believes in the equality of women and men. And this is something that Gavin Newsom may have to contend with, is whether or not he is um, whether or not in the past he said things that to women or about women that are not on the up and up. So this is something that people are going to have to kind of take into account. The overarching energy is the Knight of Wands. He's forging forward. He's moving forward. And since I got this in the other reading, and it's about moving forward and just taking your chances and doing and going forward, I think he's going to forge forward and try and win over these people. And I think part of what he's doing right now with his posts and with all this fun stuff that he's doing, I think he is trying very, very hard to win over these people that he may have offended in the past. In the immediate future, you have the Lover's card, and this is the unification of coming together as men, as women, uh, uniting behind an ideal that he has. Is he willing to fight against the Republicans? Yeah, he is. He's showing that through these posts. He is not afraid to go nose to nose against the big fat orange problem. He's not afraid to do it. He has shown himself to be unafraid, and I think that that's what people are saying. They're saying that appeals to me. I like that he is unafraid and that he's not apologetic about uh, going 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 head toe to toe against this guy. Hopes and fears. The death card. Failure. His fear is of failure. His fears of not coming through, and death is the ending and the beginning. So um, the death is the end of one thing and the beginning of something else. So is he afraid? Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of concern about it coming up, going forward and moving forward with this. Will he succeed? I don't know, but according to the yes and no cards, this coincides with what I'm getting here. I think that he is going to try and run for the presidency, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think that there's too many barricades in his way to get it, which is kind of sad, but it's also it's just the way it is. My personal hope is for Tim Walz to become president. That's my personal hope, because I think Tim Walz has a relatability that that Gavin Newsom may not necessarily have. But since this is about Gavin Newsom, I think that this is like the realization that maybe he is wanting to do this, but we're not sure, or he's not sure if he's going to do it. Eight of Cups is walking away. That is the let me see how other people see you. They see you walking away. They see you just walking away. He has upset the virtual apple cart with these posts, and once he's done it, he's just walked away. And I think that that's what's going to happen with this campaign for president. I think that Gavin Newsom is going to end up walking away from everything, and may run for the Senate later. I don't see him running in 2028 or 2026. I see him running for president in 2028, and I don't see him running for Senate until like 32 or something. So, that's kind of what I'm getting, is that he's going to run for president, and then he's going to end up walking away from it, and then maybe in 4 years or in 2 years after in 2030 or so, he's going to run for the Senate. I think that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know how old he is. I don't know what sign he is or anything like that. I have no idea. But that's what I think is going to happen. Um, uh, his hopes, what he really wishes for, what he wishes for. Oh my God, the devil. I don't think that's what he wishes for, but I think that maybe in this instance, I think that devil energy is his going nose to nose with the big fat orange problem, and just kind of swimming a little bit in that devil energy. And maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. I mean, it's amusing everybody, but I think maybe the energy of it is, he's getting caught up in this devil energy, and I think that's, it may not it may in the short term it may be a good thing for him, but in the long term he may actually be ending up, kind of undermining his own potential. And I think that that's what this card is about. The ultimate outcome is the Sun card, enlightenment. Okay, this is a great card to get for an outcome. It's enlightenment. He's going to learn. He's going to learn what he can do and what he can't do. This kind of coincides with the idea of him running for the Senate in 2030 or 2032. I think that what's going to happen is he's going to try and run for the presidency in 2028. He's not going to get it. He's not going to win the nomination, and then maybe somebody like Tim Walz is going to win the nomination, and Tim Walz may be the next president. Who knows? Tim Walz has been kind of laying low for the time being, but I see, and if it's a man that's going to be the next president, I think it'll be Tim Walz. That's what I think, because I think Tim Walz is one of these no nonsense kind of people, and he's willing to fight, but not in a way that is going to create animosity towards him. So he has a positive energy. He has a more positive energy than Gavin Newsom. And I think that Gavin Newsom is going to become enlightened by um, by all of this. He's going to run for the president. I said, this is my prediction. I'm just predicting here. This is for entertainment only, but this is my prediction. I think that Gavin Newsom is going to, given the cards and everything, I think Gavin Newsom is going to run for the presidency in 2028. He's not going to win the nomination. And in 2030 or 2032, he's going to run for U.S. Senate. Because by that time, he's going to learn what he needs to learn. He's going to know what he needs to know to run for Senate and be successful. So I think that what's going to happen is when Gavin Newsom's term runs out as governor of California, he's going to consider running for president, and he may not win the nomination. He's probably not going to win the nomination, but he will turn around in 2030 or so, and he will run for Senate. That's what I think is going to happen, and that's what I think this card is telling me, that Gavin Newsom is probably going to run for Senate in 2030 or 2032, and it also coincides with what I got from the guides with regards to him not winning the nomination, but also being able to being able to continue a political career. But at this point, I think he just doesn't care about whose toes he steps on. He's just tired. He's fed up, and I think that that's what these posts and stuff are about. Is about him being fed up with what's going on and being fed up with all the nonsense that's happening. So let me ask you a yes and no card. I mean, this is a pretty obvious yes. Is he fed up? Yes, I think he is. Um, what I get. My guides are telling me you don't have to ask yes or no cards to that. You already know. Yes, yes, he is fed up with what's going on. He's not afraid to to go toe to toe with this guy. He is just annoyed, like the rest of us are. And I think that his response is a welcome response. I think that people are just finally getting so tired of the nonsense that they are just fed up, and people are happy to see. Are people happy to see this? Are people happy to see these postings, or this guy going up against the big fat one's problem? Are they happy to see this? No, they're not happy, because the thing is that they're not happy to see this happening, because I don't think they like what's going on. They do not like what's going on, and they feel like that having to go low is kind of new to them. And we were always taught, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, yada yada yada. And now it's like that's been turned completely on its head. And so people are not happy that this is coming to be, because they see it as immature. Do they see this as immature and as silly and really, I don't want to say unnecessary, but do they see it as silly and immature? Actually, no, they don't. But they see it as it's about time. They have been through so much. People have been through so much with regards to all of this, that they are really, really. I don't want to say they're happy about seeing this happen, but they are finally seeing some sense of justice. And this is what this is about. Okay, I just looked at the clock and it says 48 minutes. This is the longest video, or 46 minutes. It's the longest video I've ever done for this channel, and so I hope that answers everything that was intended. I am like turning into a blob of sweat because it's so hot, and I need to make lunch. And then we're going to go for a walk, and hopefully I don't melt like the Wicked Witch of the West. But at any rate, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for bearing with me for the last uh, 45 minutes or so. Yeah, this is like the longest video I've done, and hopefully it was informative, insightful, and fun. It was for entertainment only. I had to say that for the third time, but since it's a long video, I figured I better say it again. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you are staying hydrated. I think it's so important. I think it's so very vitally important to stay hydrated, to keep yourself on the up and up with the weather and how the weather is where you are. So take care, have a great day, and as always, namaste.